that he is an architect. Someone should mention him. He is an architect. Someone should mention to him the broad opportunities offered to the that he is an architect. Someone should mention offered by the shortage of skilled robots. He said, "Imagine in public." I wondered, said Keating, slowly working this about me when the times come. What on earth does he mean by the symbolic significance of and course of a man, brotherhood of all? Is a place why should worry, not able to read. Hello. Yes, I had seen the movie Tumbad. It is a great movie. You should watch it. And currently, I'm reading this book. Uh, a scene of the Tumbad movie will interest you. Uh, I think the last scene where they all go down and that the child bought uh, too many balls of wheat flour. and too many Hastar appears at the same time. That was a very intense scene for me. And very horror scene was when the Dadi scene was too, or it was too horrific at the same time. Oh, that is great. His next movies also came now. I think I'm going to watch it soon. Thank you. Okay, that is great, Rakesh. He was the relic. Relic मतलब अवशेष. Relic मतलब अवशेष of an ancient family, and it was suspected Matt Francon had taken him into partnership for the sake of the social connection. People felt sorry for a poor dear Lucas, admired him for the effort of undertaking a professional career, and though it would be nice to let him build their home. Frank Cohn built them and required no further service from Lucas. This satisfied everybody. The man in the drafting room loved Peter Keating. He made them feel as if he had been there for a long time. He had always known how to become a part of any place he entered. He came soft and bright as sponge to be filled, unresisting with the air and the mood of the place. His warm smile, his gay voice, the easy surge of his shoulder seemed to say that nothing weighed too much within his soul, and so he was not one to blame, to demand, to accuse anything. As he sat now watching Francon read the article, Francon raised his head to glance at him. Francon saw two eyes looking at him with an immense approval and two bright little points of contempt in the corner of Keating mouth, like two musical notes of laughter visible the second before they were to be heard. Francon felt a great wave of comfort. The comfort came from the contempt. The approval, together with that wise half smile, granted him the grandeur. ग्रैंड्योर मतलब बड़प्पन का एहसास. He did not have to earn a blind admiration would have been precarious, 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 असुरक्षित, अनिश्चित, precarious. A deserved admiration would have been a responsibility. An undeserved admiration was precious. When when you go, Peter, give give this to Miss Jaffer to put in my scrapbook. On his way down the stairs, Keating flung the magazine high in the air and caught it smartly. His lips pursued to whistle without sound. In the drafting room, he found Tim Davis, his best friend, disclosed, सुस्ती से disclosed. His best friend disclosed despondently, in low spirit from loss of hope of or courage. Which device? This device is ninth generation iPad. Over a drawing. Tim Davis was a tall blond boy at the next table whom Keating had noticed long ago because he had known with no tangible evidence, but with certainly as a Keating always knew such thing that this was the favored draftman of the office. Keating managed to Keating managed to assign as frequently as possible to do parts of the project on which Davis worked. Soon they were going out to lunch together and quite a little speak easy after the day work. And Keating was listening with breathless attention to Davis talk about his love for the Aline Duffy. Not a word for which Keating has ever remembered afterward. He found Davis now in a black gloom, his mouth chewing furiously, a cigarette and a pencil at once. Keating did not have a question him. He merely bent his friend's face over Davis' shoulder. Davis spit out the cigarette and exploded. He had just been told that he would have to work overtime tonight for the third time this week. Got, got to stay late. God knows how late. Got to finish this damn tribe tonight. What is the meaning of tribe? Tribe मतलब इस बेकार या घटिया बात. किस चीज़ का पेपर है भाई? तुम भी पढ़ो. He slammed the sheet spread before him. Look at it. Hours and hours to finish what I am going to do. Well, it is because you are the best man here, Tim, and they need you. To the hell with that, I have got a date with Aline tonight. How I'm going to break. Third time. She won't believe me. She told me so last time. That's the end. I'm going up to a guy, the mighty, and tell him where he can put his plan and his job. I'm through. Wait, said Kitty and leaned closer to him. Wait, there's another way. I will finish them for you. Oh, I'll stay. I will do them. Don't be afraid. No one will tell the difference. Pete, would you? So I have come. I have nothing to do tonight. Uh, you just stay till they all go home, then skip. Oh, Pete, there is side tempt, but look, if they found out they can me. You are too new for this kind of job. They won't find out. I can't lose my job, Pete. You know I can't. Alina and I am going to be married soon. If anything happens, nothing will happen. Shortly after 6 days, Davis departed furtively, 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 मतलब furtively, in a way that attempts to avoid notice or attention, basically secret. From the empty drafting room, leaving Keating at his table. Bending under the solitary green lamp, Keating glanced at the desolate, desolate, desolated, desolate, मतलब desolate, desolate मतलब स्थान निर्जन, एकाकी, उदास, निराशपूर्ण. Keating glanced at the desolate expanse of the three long rooms, oddly silent after the day rush. And he felt that he owned them, that he would own them for sure. The pencil moved in his hand. It was a half past 9. He finished the plan, stacked them neatly on Davis' table, and left the office. He walked down the street, glowing with a comfortable, undignified feeling as though after a good meal. Then the realization of his loneliness struck him suddenly. He had to share his this with someone tonight. He had no one. For the first time, he wished his mother were in New York, but she had remained in Stenton, awaiting the day when he thought be able to send to her. He had nowhere to go tonight save to respectable little boarding house on the West 28th Street, whether he could climb 3 flights of stairs to his clean, airless little room. He had met people in New York, many people, many girls, with one of whom he remembered spending a pleasant night. Though he could not remember the last name, but he wished to see none of them. And then he thought of Catherine Hasley. He had sent her a wire on the night of his graduation and forgotten her ever since. Now he wanted to see her. Now he wanted. Now he wanted to. Now he wanted to see her. The desire was intense and immediate. With the first sound of her name in his memory. दोस्त सो रहा है यार मेरा. He wanted to see her. The desire was intense and immediate. With the first sound, the name in his memory, he leaped into the bus for a long ride to Greenwich Village, climbed to the deserted top, and sitting alone on the front beach, cursed the traffic light whenever they turned to red. It had always been like this where Catherine was concerned and wondered dimly what was the matter with him. He had met her a year ago in Boston, where she had lived with her widowed mother. He had found Catherine homely and dull. On that first meeting, with nothing to her credit but her lovingly smile, not a sufficient reason ever to see her again. He had telephoned her the next evening, of course, of the countless girl he had known in his student years. He was the only one with whom he had never progressed beyond a few kisses. He could have any girl he met, and he knew he could have Catherine. He wanted her, she loved him, and that and had admitted it simply openly without fear of shyness, asking nothing of him, expecting nothing. Somehow he had never taken advantage of it. He had felt proud of the girl whom he escorted in those days, the most beautiful girl, the most popular, the best dressed, and he had delighted in the envy of his schoolmate. He had been ashamed of Catherine's thoughtless slopingness and of the fact that no other boy would look at her twice. But he had never been as happy as he when he took her to the fraternity dance. He had many violent loves when he sure he could not live without girl, that he forgot Catherine for weeks. At that time, she never reminded him. He had always come back to her suddenly, inexplicably, 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 जिसे समझाया ना जा सके. Reminded him he always come back to her suddenly. से समझाया ना, जैसे कि as he did tonight. Her mother, a gentle little school teacher, had died last winter. Catherine had gone to live with his uncle in New York. Keating had answered some of the letter immediately, others month later. He had always replied at once and never returned during his long silences. Waiting patiently, he had felt when he thought of her and that nothing would ever replace her. Then in New York, within reach of a bus or telephone. To memorize it, write it down again and again. Somebody write it down. Writing is the best way to memorize. Um, Use pen and paper or anything whether you are comfortable. Catherine has gone to live with his uncle in New York. Keating had answered some of her letter immediately. Other month later, she had replied, but in the silence, he never replied. He never thought, as he hurried to her now, that he should have announced his visit. He never wondered whether he would find her at home. He had always come back like this, and she had always been there. She was there again tonight. She opened the door for him on the top floor of shabby, pretentious brownstone house. Hello, Peter, she said, as if she had seen him yesterday. She stood before him, too small, too thin for her clothes. The short black shirt flared out from the slim band of her waist. The boy's skirt collar hung loosely, pulled to one side, revealing the knob of a thin collarbone. The sleeves were too long over the fragile hands. He looked at him, her hand band on other side. The chestnut hair was gathered carelessly at the back of her neck, but looked at it with bobbed, standing light and fuzzy, as a shapeless halo about her face. Her eyes were grey, wide, and nearsighted. Her mouth smiled slowly, delicately, enchantingly. Delicately का क्या मतलब होता है? डेलिकेट मतलब नाजुक. डेलिकेट का मतलब होता है नाजुक. डेलिकेट मतलब नाजुक. डेलिकेट नाजुक. नाजुक. नाजुकली. एंचैंटिंग मतलब बोलना बार बार. इंचेंटिंग मतलब बोलना नहीं. इंचेंटिंग मतलब बोलना नहीं. इंचेंटिंग मतलब डिलाइटफुली चार्मिंग और अट्रैक्टिव. इंचेंटिंगली डिलाइटफुली चार्मिंग. चार्मिंग. enchantingly charming. Her lips glistening new meaning. इससे आगे new meaning. Glistening, shining and sparkling like sign. चमकना, sign, shine. तो मैं थक गया. He felt at peace. He felt he had nothing to fear in this house or anywhere outside. He had prepared himself to explain how busy he had been in New York, but explanation seems irrelevant now. Give me your hat, she said. Be careful of that chair. It is not very steady. We have better ones in the living room. Come on. The living room, he noticed, was modest but somehow distinguished and surprisingly good taste. He noticed that the book cheap shelves rising to the ceiling, loaded with the precious volume. The volumes stacked carelessly, cheap shelves rising to the ceiling, loaded with a precious volume. The volume stacked carelessly, actually being used. He noticed over a neat, savvy desk, uh, Rembrandt. Rembrandt मतलब Rembrandt जी इसका नाम है. Okay, stained and yellow, found perhaps in some junk shop, with the eyes of a. इसका मीनिंग मुझे पता है कौन expert basically. Expert इसमें इसका मतलब expert who had never bartered with it, though its price would have been obviously been of help him. He wondered what business her uncle could be in. He had never asked. He stood looking vaguely at the room, feeling her presence behind him, enjoying that sense of certainty which he found so rarely. Then he then he turned and took her arms and kissed her. Her lips met his softly, eagerly. Was when she was neither frightened nor excited, too happy to accept this in ways, save by taking it for granted. The only way to download chapter in your head is to read again, write again, going through again in the same path. Then only you can learn. Repetition is the key. Repetition is the key. Nothing else. If you are thinking that doing nothing you will able to learn that chapter, it is not going to happen anytime sooner, until and unless neural link or some kind of chip is inserted in your head, and that I do not think any human would want to get a chip inside his head. So you have to go through it, and train your neurons by, and they can be trained only by the one process, that is repetition. You have to read again and again, write again and again, practice again and again. That is the only key. अच्छा हिंदी मतलब रिपीटिशन ही की है, मतलब बार बार उस चीज़ को करना पड़ेगा आपको, तभी वो दिमाग में फिट होगा, अदरवाइज नहीं होगा. बार बार पढ़ना पड़ेगा, बार बार लिखना पड़ेगा, और पढ़ना लिखना पड़ेगा तभी घुसेगा. नहीं तो चिप अगर लगा चिप नहीं लगा सकते दिमाग में. चिप लगाओगे तो फिर वो गड़बड़ हो जाएगा. तो एक ही तरीका है, पढ़ो और लिखो, पढ़ो लिखो, पढ़ो लिखो, पढ़ो लिखो, बस. दैट इज़ ओनली थिंग. और डायरेक्ट डाउनलोडिंग नहीं होती, कोई 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 इतना जीनियस नहीं है, दे all have given the same brain, and but the endeavor, those who try again and again, they get success, otherwise they do not get success at all. God, I have missed you, he said, and knew that he had every day since he had seen her last, and most of all, perhaps on the day when he had not thought of her. You haven't changed much, she said. You look a little thinner. It is becoming you and very attractive. When you are 50, Peter, that is not a very complimentary by implication. Oh, you mean I think you are not attractive now? Or what you are? You shouldn't say that right out to me like that. Why not? You know you are, but I have been thinking of what you look like 50. You'll have great amples and you wear gray suit. I saw once in a window last week and I thought that would be one of you will be a very great architect. You really think so? Why? She was not flattering him. She was not flattering him. She was not. She was not flattering him. He did not seem to realize that it could be flattery. He was merely stating a fact, too certain to need emphasize. He waited for inevitable question, but instead they were talking suddenly of their old Staton days together, and he was laughing, holding her knees in her thin shoulder, leaning against the circle of her arms, contented. He was speaking of their old bathing suit, of runs in a stocking, of their favorite ice cream parlor in a Staten where they had spent so many summer evenings together, and he was thinking dimly that it made nonsense at all. He had more pertinent thing to do, pertinent मतलब important होना चाहिए, I think, relevant, I think, relevant, more pertinent, relevant, relevant things to do. Okay, I think I should leave now. I'm feeling hungry.